The palace of the Lemurian Empire was silent after the hug. No one moved. Every alien guard, every advisor, every servant, even the queen herself, all of them stared in shock at the human in the center of the grand hall. Ambassador Daniel Hayes, from Earth, stood frozen under the weight of 1,000 eyes. His hands were stiff by his sides. His mouth was slightly open, as if his brain could not process what had just happened. The alien princess, named Arya, was still holding him. Her arms were around him gently, but strong enough to show it was not an accident. She had chosen to hug him. She had run across the palace floor, past all the guards, and hugged a human like he was someone important, someone special. And now, the whole palace stopped breathing. Daniel whispered to himself, his voice shaking. Why me?" Princess Arya slowly stepped back. She did not look embarrassed or afraid. Instead, she looked calm, like she had done the most natural thing in the universe. Her purple eyes stared into Daniel's soul. "I know you," she said quietly. "I do not know how, but I know you." Her voice echoed through the hall like soft music. But to everyone listening, her words sounded like thunder. A loud metal sound broke the silence. Clang! A guard dropped his spear in shock. The queen, seated on her golden throne, finally rose. She was tall, taller than any human. Her crown glowed like a star, and her eyes were sharp like blades. "Princess Arya," the queen said, voice cold as ice. "Step away from the human." Arya hesitated. Daniel could feel her strength disappearing. She stepped back, but her eyes did not leave him. The queen walked forward, her footsteps echoing. Thump, thump, thump. Every echo felt like a heartbeat. She stopped right in front of Daniel. He could not look away from her. Her eyes were bright, like galaxies burning. "Explain yourself," the queen said. "Why did my daughter run to you? Why did she touch you? Speak." Daniel swallowed hard. He could feel fear crawling up his spine. His voice trembled as he spoke. "Your Majesty," he said, "I don't know. I didn't ask her to. I'm just here to talk for peace. I swear." The queen's eyes scanned him, like she was reading his memories. "Humans," she whispered like an insult. "Weak. Emotional. Dangerous." Daniel felt a sting in his heart. He wanted to defend humanity. He wanted to say humans were more than their flaws. But the words were stuck in his throat. Princess Arya stepped forward. "Mother, he is not dangerous. I felt something when I saw him. Something strong. Something old." Murmurs filled the hall. "Old? What does she mean?" "Impossible. Humans are young compared to us." The queen raised her hand and the whispers died. Arya continued, her voice trembling. "I saw him in my dreams. Before I was born. A man, a human, who brings peace to the stars." Gasps spread like wildfire. Even Daniel felt chills down his spine. "I do not understand it," Arya said, voice cracking. "But I know it is him." The queen's face did not move, but her eyes widened a little. She turned away. "Guards," she ordered, "take the human." Daniel's heart dropped. "Wait." 2 guards, each twice his size, grabbed his arms roughly. They began to drag him away. Arya gasped. "No! Mother, stop!" The queen finally turned back to Daniel. "You will be questioned. If you lie, if you threaten us, you will not leave this palace alive." Daniel's voice shook. "I don't want to hurt anyone." For the first time, a flicker of emotion passed through the queen's eyes. Not kindness. Not trust. But confusion. Arya ran to Daniel and placed her hand on his. "I believe you." Her touch was warm. Human. Real. A guard pulled her back. "Princess, please," she shouted, voice breaking. "He is part of the prophecy." Silence again. The queen's eyes narrowed. "Do not speak of that in front of outsiders." Arya looked desperate. "He should know. He must." The queen stared at Daniel. Very well, she decided. Come with me, human. There is something you need to see. Something forgotten. Daniel's heart pounded. The guards released him. The princess looked relieved. The queen turned and walked down a dark hallway, her cloak trailing behind her like a shadow. Daniel hesitated. Then, with a brave breath, he followed. The hallway was cold. The lights flickered. Strange symbols glowed on the walls. Daniel could hear whispers, like voices from the past. A voice echoed, not human, not alien, from somewhere far away. Human blood holds the key. Daniel froze. The queen stopped walking. Slowly, she looked back. So, she said, voice like thunder, do you still want peace, human? Daniel lifted his chin. His heart was racing, but he did not look away. Yes, he said. I do. The queen's eyes narrowed. Then your real test begins now. The long hallway felt like it stretched into infinity. Daniel followed the queen, his footsteps echoing behind her. The air was cold, and every breath felt heavier than the last. Princess Arya walked beside him, her eyes bright but worried. The guards followed close, watching his every movement. No one spoke. At the end of the hallway, a massive door stood waiting. It was carved from dark crystal, taller than any human building. Strange symbols glowed across its surface. They looked alive, like they were breathing. The queen raised her hand. The symbols reacted instantly. Thwum. The door slid open, revealing a room so ancient it smelled like dust and memories. Inside, the walls were covered in murals, paintings showing battles, planets, and creatures Daniel had never seen. The stars in the murals glittered like real lights. It felt like stepping into a living universe. A huge painting caught Daniel's eye. It showed a figure, a human, reaching out to an alien queen. Between them, a star shined like a bridge. Daniel whispered, "Is that a human?" The queen's voice echoed in the chamber. "Yes. A human from the age before empires. Before our world ruled the stars." Daniel's heart thumped. "You mean, humans visited here in the past?" Princess Arya nodded. "Long ago, before history was recorded. Our legends say humans brought peace to galaxies. They were diplomats, explorers, dreamers." Daniel blinked. He never heard anything like that on Earth. Humans were struggling to survive, not leading galaxies. "How did humans forget?" he asked. The queen's eyes softened. "Because they were betrayed. A war erased their legacy. Their technology was stolen. Their history was buried." Daniel felt like the floor had vanished under him. Earth betrayed? Forgotten? Arya stepped closer to the mural. She touched the painted stars. "There is a prophecy, Daniel. It says one day, a human will return. A human who brings peace again." She looked at him. Daniel felt his stomach twist. "Me? No. I'm just normal. I'm not chosen or special. I'm scared, honestly." The queen stared at him like she could see the truth beneath his skin. "Fear can be a strength if used with wisdom. The galaxy does not need a hero made of steel. It needs a human, with a heart." Daniel didn't know what to say. His mind was spinning. Suddenly, a loud crack echoed across the room. Crack! A section of the mural began to move. The wall slid open, revealing a hidden staircase leading downward. Cold blue light spilled out. The queen spoke without turning. "Follow me. You will see what this prophecy means." They descended the steps. The deeper they went, the older the world seemed. Dust coated the stone. Cobwebs sparkled with energy. Daniel felt like something ancient was watching. At the bottom, a giant chamber opened. In the center stood a machine, a giant ring made of metal and crystal, suspended in the air. It looked both broken and alive. "What is that?" Daniel asked. Arya whispered. "The Stargate of Origins. The first device that connected Earth to the stars." Daniel took a step forward. His body tingled, like electricity rushing under his skin. The queen noticed. Her eyes widened slightly. It reacts to you. Daniel shook his head. That can't be real. Put your hand on it, she ordered. Daniel hesitated. His hand hovered inches from the glowing metal. Arya touched his shoulder. I'm here. Daniel nodded. He placed his palm on the Stargate. Flash. A burst of light shot through the room. Memories that were not his exploded in his mind, images of ancient humans, ships traveling through stars, alliances with alien races, and wars that shattered galaxies. He saw fire, betrayal, and a final image. A human hand letting go of an alien queen's hand as they fell apart in darkness. Daniel stumbled back, gasping. The queen stepped forward. What did you see? Daniel's eyes filled with tears he didn't understand. I saw everything. Humans were great. We were loved. And then we were broken. Silence filled the chamber. Then Arya said softly, Now you know. The prophecy is not about a hero. It is about restoring what was lost. Daniel clenched his fists. For the first time, he didn't feel weak. He didn't feel alone. He felt connected. He looked at the queen. What do you want me to do? The queen nodded slowly, like she had been waiting centuries for those words. You must prove humanity deserves a place among the stars again. You will be judged. Tested. If you fail, Earth will be banned forever. If you succeed. She turned and pointed to the Stargate. The stars will open for you. Daniel breathed deeply. His fear was still there, but something stronger was rising behind it. Courage. Then I'll try, he said. I'll do whatever I can. The queen's eyes flashed with something new. Respect. Very well, she said. Your first trial begins tomorrow at sunrise. Arya smiled. For the first time since arriving, Daniel felt hope. But then, boom! The chamber shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Alarms screamed. Guards raised weapons. A voice crackled through a communication device. Your Majesty! The palace is under attack! Unknown forces, they're inside! Daniel froze. The queen's face darkened like a storm. Your test begins sooner than expected, human! The alarms screamed through the underground chamber like angry ghosts. Red lights flashed across the walls, turning every shadow into something dangerous. Dust fell from the ceiling as the ground trembled again. Boom! Another explosion. Closer this time. Guards moved quickly, forming a shield around the Queen and Princess Arya. Weapons hummed with electric power. The Stargate behind Daniel flickered like it was remembering old nightmares. Daniel's heart pounded. He felt like he was standing at the center of a storm. The Queen raised her hand. To the surface. Now. Guards opened a side door. A secret path led upward. They moved fast, faster than Daniel thought possible. Arya stayed close to him, her steps light, her eyes sharp. Stay with me, she whispered. Daniel nodded, trying not to show his fear. He could hear screams in the distance. Shouts. The crackle of energy weapons. The palace was turning into a battlefield. When they reached the top floor, smoke filled the air. The grand hall, the place where Arya first hugged him, was now chaos. Pillars were broken. Banners burned. Alien soldiers fought intruders dressed in dark armor with no symbols. Their helmets were smooth black, like shadows given shape. The Queen pointed. Invaders from the Zarlan Dominion. They wished to end peace. They feared the prophecy. Daniel didn't know who the Zarlans were, but he could feel their hatred in the air. One Zarlan soldier spotted Daniel and charged. His weapon glowed with violet energy, deadly. Daniel froze. He had no weapon. No armor. No training. But Arya moved like lightning. She leaped forward and grabbed the soldier's arm, twisting it. The weapon fell. She kicked him back. The floor cracked under the force. Arya shouted, "Move, Daniel! Don't stand still!" Daniel snapped out of shock and dove behind a fallen pillar. He peeked out. The Zarlans were strong. Faster than humans. But the Lemurian guards fought back fiercely. Suddenly, the Queen's voice echoed across the hall. Daniel Hayes! He looked up. The Queen stood on the throne platform, glowing with power. Your test begins now. Daniel stared at her. In the middle of an attack? Yes, she said firmly. Peace is tested in war. Strength is tested in fear. Humanity will be judged, starting with you. She pointed to a group of civilians trapped under broken stone near a burning wall, smaller aliens, like children, crying for help. Save them, the Queen ordered. Without weapons. Without power. Only with your humanity. Daniel hesitated. The fire. The smoke. The danger. His legs shook. He could die. But then he remembered Arya's hug. The prophecy. The Stargate. The ancient memories. He remembered who humans used to be. He stepped out from behind the pillar. A Zarlan soldier saw him and raised a weapon. Daniel grabbed a broken metal pole from the ground, not a sword, just a piece of debris. He swung it like a bat, knocking the weapon aside. The shock hurt his arms, but he didn't stop. He shoved the soldier back with all his strength. The soldier stumbled. Daniel didn't fight to win. He fought to reach the trapped civilians. He dropped the pole and started pulling away rubble. His hands burned. His fingers bled. The children cried, but he spoke softly. It's okay. I'm here. I'll get you out. Simple words. Honest words. Arya watched with wide eyes. The Queen's expression was unreadable. A stone beam pinned one of the civilians. Daniel tried to lift it. It wouldn't move. His muscles shook. He screamed from the effort. Arya ran to him and helped. Together, they lifted it just enough to pull the child free. When the last civilian was safe, Daniel collapsed to his knees, gasping for air. Sweat dripped from his face. His hands trembled. But he smiled. They're safe, he whispered. The Queen descended from the throne. The battle still raged behind her, but she looked only at him. You could have fought, she said. You could have run. You could have saved yourself. Daniel looked up, exhausted. They needed help. That's enough reason. The Queen studied him like he was a riddle. Then she spoke loudly, for all to hear. Humans are not weak. Her voice cut through the battlefield. Even the Zarlans paused. The Queen raised her hand, energy swirling around her. They are not powerful because of strength. They are powerful because they care. Arya helped Daniel stand. Their eyes met, not romantic, but bonded. Trust. Respect. The Queen announced. First trial passed. Daniel felt a rush of pride and fear. If this was only the first test, how hard would the next ones be? Before he could speak, the palace shook again. A massive explosion blew the main doors open. Smoke poured in. A huge Zarlan commander entered, armor glowing like molten rock. He pointed at Daniel. There! Voice deep like thunder. The human! The prophecy must die! Daniel's breath caught. Every guard turned toward the enemy. Arya grabbed his arm. The Queen raised her sword. Daniel felt his fear return. But so did his courage. Let them come, he whispered. The Zarlan commander marched forward, his heavy steps shaking the palace floor. His glowing armor pulsed like a beating heart. Every alien soldier stepped back, even the guards. Fear spread through the hall like cold wind. Daniel stood his ground, even though his legs felt weak. Princess Arya moved between Daniel and the commander. Her voice cut through the silence. You will not touch him. The commander laughed, a deep, rumbling sound. You think a prophecy protects him? Stories do not change reality. Power does. The Queen raised her blade, pointing it toward the commander. Leave. Now. Or I will show you the power of a queen who protects her people. The commander tilted his head. I did not come to fight you, Your Majesty. His helmet shifted, eyes glowing red. I came for him. Daniel felt a cold pressure on his chest, like fear was pressing down. He stepped backward. Arya grabbed his arm, steadying him. "You're not alone," she whispered. Before the commander could move, a loud alarm pierced the air. Then, shhhk, boom! Smoke burst across the hall. Dozens of palace windows shattered. Figures rushed in, but they were not Zarlans. They wore Lemurian armor, the same as the Queen's guards. Daniel blinked, confused. Were these reinforcements? But then one guard pointed at Arya. "Seize the princess!" Daniel's heart dropped. What? More guards charged, but their movements were wrong. Too aggressive. Too wild. Their eyes glowed red. The Queen shouted, "Traitors! They are infiltrators!" The Zarlan commander smiled. "In every empire there are those who fear change. They joined us. They hate humans more than we do." The infiltrator guards surrounded Arya and Daniel. One grabbed Arya's arm. Daniel reacted instantly, pulling her away. "Let go of her!" A guard shoved Daniel against a column. Pain shot down his back. His vision blurred. But he didn't stop. "Daniel, behind you!" Arya shouted. Daniel ducked as a blade sliced the air where his head had been. He kicked forward, hitting the guard's knee. It barely moved the alien, but it was enough for Arya to pull Daniel free. The Queen fought like a storm, her blade flashing with lightning. She struck the commander, forcing him back. Sparks flew. But she was surrounded. "Protect the princess!" she roared. But the infiltrators were too many. Daniel grabbed a fallen guard's shield. It vibrated with energy, almost throwing him off balance. He held it up just in time. A blast hit it, sending him sliding across the floor. His body hurt, but he didn't let go. He crawled toward Arya. "Stay behind me," he said. Arya looked shocked. "You can't stop them alone." Daniel smiled weakly. "Good thing I'm not alone." Arya placed her hand on the shield. A soft light spread across it, stabilizing it. The shield glowed brighter. Daniel felt strength flow into his arms. The infiltrators hesitated, confused. The Zarlan commander growled, and his armor glowed hotter. "Enough. End this." He raised his arm to strike. But before the blast came, a loud crack echoed. Crack! A ceiling beam fell between Daniel and the commander, blocking the attack. Dust filled the air. When the dust faded, the commander was gone, retreated with his troops. But Arya suddenly fell to her knees. "Arya!" Daniel rushed to her. She was breathing fast. Her skin glowed strangely. Bright veins of light pulsed under it. The Queen ran to her side. She looked terrified, a rare sight. "They poisoned her, with no fire," the Queen whispered. "It burns energy. It drains royal blood." Daniel froze. He didn't understand much, but he understood one thing. Arya was dying. Daniel grabbed her hands. "What do I do? Tell me!" The Queen clenched her teeth. "Humans cannot heal no fire. Only our own kind can endure it." Arya's voice was weak. "Daniel, go. Please. You'll get hurt." Daniel shook his head. "I'm not leaving." He looked around desperately, then remembered something from his world. Something simple. He tore a piece of his shirt and pressed it to Arya's wound, like Earth first aid. The cloth glowed faintly, reacting with her skin. Arya gasped, but then her breathing slowed. The glow stabilized a little. The Queen's eyes widened. "What did you do?" Daniel answered honestly. "I just helped. Humans call it first aid. We don't have magic. But we try anyway." The Queen stared at him, like seeing him for the first time. Behind them, traitor guards escaped through the broken doors. The palace was left in ruins. Arya whispered, "They wanted me away from you. From the prophecy." Daniel helped her sit up. "Then I'm not going anywhere." The Queen stood, her aura bright with rage and pride. "This was no accident," she said. "Someone inside the palace planned this." She looked into the shadows, deep, cold, waiting. "Jealous hearts. Old enemies. Hidden knives. If you stay, Daniel, they will hunt you. Daniel rose to his feet, still shaking. Let them. The Queen's eyes narrowed. Then so be it. The second trial begins tomorrow. Daniel nodded. He felt fear, but also fire. Arya leaned on him, voice soft but strong. You're not just part of the prophecy now. You're in the middle of it. Daniel looked at the broken palace. Broken hopes. Broken safety. But not broken purpose. Not anymore. The palace infirmary was quiet, too quiet. The walls glowed with a dim blue light, and strange medical machines hummed like distant thunder. Princess Arya lay on a crystal bed, her body glowing with faint gold veins as the null fire poison fought against her energy. Daniel sat beside her, his hands still wrapped in bandages. He felt helpless, like he was watching a storm and couldn't stop the rain. Doctors and healers moved around Arya, whispering in their alien language. Their faces were tense. Their eyes avoided Daniel. They blamed him without speaking a word. Finally, the Queen entered the room. Her crown was cracked. Her armor was scorched. She looked less like a ruler and more like a mother who carried a galaxy on her shoulders. Daniel, she said quietly. Come with me. Daniel glanced at Arya. I don't want to leave her. She will not be alone, the Queen replied. But there is something only you can do. Against his worry, Daniel obeyed. He followed her through another hall of murals and old scars. They stopped before a round door marked with starlight symbols. It opened with a sigh. Inside was a circular chamber. In the center stood a pedestal holding a small box made of clear crystal. Inside the box, a shard of light floated, like a tiny star. The Queen's voice was slow and heavy. This is the Heartstone of Illyrin. It holds the purest energy of our empire. It can heal null fire, or kill the one who touches it. Daniel swallowed. You mean Arya has to use it? The Queen shook her head. No. You must. Daniel froze. His heart punched against his ribs. Me? But I'm not. I'm human. I don't have your energy. That is why it might work, the Queen answered. No fire poison feeds on our power. It drains anything connected to our bloodline. But humans are not connected. You are outside the rules of this universe. Daniel stared at the Heartstone. It pulsed like it was alive. If I fail? He asked. You die, the Queen said. No softness. No lies. Daniel laughed nervously. Do I get any good options? The Queen finally looked at him, really looked. Her eyes were tired. If you don't try, Arya will die. And the prophecy dies with her. The galaxy returns to war. Daniel took a shaky breath. Fear filled him like ice. But then he remembered Part 1, the hug, the silence. Part 2, the Stargate memories. Part 3, saving the children. Part 4, Arya poisoned because she protected him. He was done running. Daniel stepped forward. I'll try. I can't promise anything, but I'll try. The Queen nodded once. A sign of respect. When they returned to Arya's room, the healers stepped aside. The Queen lifted the crystal box with both hands and placed it near Arya's chest. Arya's breathing was shallow. She whispered, Daniel, you should not risk this. Daniel smiled weakly. I didn't come to your world to watch you die. And I definitely didn't come to give up. Arya closed her eyes. Thank you. Daniel took the crystal shard in his hands. It burned instantly. SSSSSSD. His palms smoked. Pain shot through his arms. His vision went white. But he did not drop it. He pressed the Heartstone to Arya's chest. Her body jolted, light erupting around them. The energy poured through Daniel first, ripping through him like fire and lightning. It felt like his bones were cracking, his heart exploding, his mind tearing apart. He screamed. Arya gasped. The poison inside her glowed, then cracked like glass. The room shook. Machines blew sparks. Daniel held on. The Queen shouted, Let go if you must! No shame in surviving! But Daniel shook his head. No, humans don't quit! With one final push, he forced the Heartstone's power through him, into Arya. A burst of white light filled the room. Silence. Then a breath. Arya opened her eyes. The gold veins were gone. Her skin glowed with normal energy again. The poison vanished, burned away. Daniel collapsed backward, unconscious. He didn't hear the healers cheering. He didn't see the Queen's mask finally break, showing relief, gratitude, and grief all at once. He didn't see Arya sit up, tears falling. She touched Daniel's face gently. He saved me, she whispered. The Queen stood tall, voice strong again. Second trial, passed. Not by strength. Not by power. By heart. She looked at her guards. Let the Empire know, humanity stands with us. From this day forward, anyone who hunts Daniel Hayes, hunts the throne. The healers moved to help Daniel, but the Queen raised her hand. No. Let him rest. Humans heal in their own way. Arya leaned close to Daniel's ear. You are not just part of the prophecy now, she said softly. You are shaping it. Outside, the palace bells rang, not in mourning, but in honor. Daniel slept through it all. But when he wakes, the galaxy will never look the same. Dark clouds gathered over the palace. The once peaceful city below was filled with smoke and broken towers. Repair crews rushed through streets while soldiers stood guard at every entrance. The Empire was bracing for something bigger. Something dangerous. Daniel woke in a medical chamber. His body felt heavy, like someone had tied stones to his bones. His hands throbbed with memory, the Heartstone, Arya's life, the pain that nearly killed him. He opened his eyes slowly. Princess Arya sat nearby, wearing light armor, her expression focused. She looked stronger now, recovered, glowing with energy. She noticed him wake and stood immediately. You're finally awake. Daniel sat up, wincing. How long was I out? 3 days, Arya replied. The palace has changed while you slept. So has the galaxy. Daniel rubbed his eyes. That doesn't sound good. It isn't. Arya handed him a device, a holographic tablet. With a tap, images appeared in the air, burning planets, broken trade routes, frightened crowds. The Zarlan Dominion declared war against us, she said. They claim our empire is weak because we protect humans. Other factions are choosing sides. Some with us, some against. Daniel felt cold inside. Because of me? Arya nodded. Because of the prophecy. Because you lived when you should have died. Daniel placed the tablet down. He didn't want to see more destruction. Before he could speak, the Queen entered the chamber. She wore full armor, black and gold, marked with ancient sigils. She looked like a storm given shape. Daniel Hayes, she said. Stand. Daniel tried to rise but struggled. The Queen gestured, and 2 guards helped him up. You have passed 2 trials, the Queen declared. But the 3rd will not be in the palace. It will be on the battlefield. Daniel blinked. Battlefield? I'm not a soldier. No, the Queen said. You are something rarer. A human with a heart that refuses to break. She paused. The Empire needs that now. She pressed a button on her armor. A map appeared, stars, kingdoms, war routes. The Zarlan Dominion is moving toward our borders. They want what is left of the old worlds. And they want to kill you before you can unite us. Daniel felt his chest tighten. I can't lead an army. I'm not ready. The Queen's gaze hardened. No one is ready to change history. They simply choose to start. Arya stepped forward. You will not be alone. I will lead the royal guard. And you will do what humans do best. Daniel raised an eyebrow. Panic? Arya's lips twitched, a hint of humor. Adapt. Survive. Inspire. Before Daniel could protest, explosions shook the castle. Boom! Boom! Dust fell from the ceiling. Sirens blared. A soldier rushed in. Your Majesty! The Zarlans have reached our airspace. Their flagship is here. The Queen's voice was calm, like she expected this. Prepare the fleet. Evacuate civilians. Ready the Citadel shields. Arya grabbed Daniel's hand and pulled him toward the exit. He stumbled after her. Where are we going? To the air docks, Arya said. Your next trial is coming, whether you choose it or not. The air docks were massive, thousands of ships hovered like metallic birds. Soldiers rushed to board, engines roared, blue flames lit the sky. Daniel's heart raced. He had never seen warships before, not like these. Some looked like flying fortresses. Others like spears of light. One ship stood out, black with gold wings, shaped like a predator ready to strike. Arya pointed to it. The Eclipse Spear. Our fastest vessel. You will be on it. If anything happens to us. Daniel interrupted. You think I'm going to run? No chance. I'm not leaving you or the Empire behind. Arya studied him. Not with romance. Not with pity. With respect. Then stand where you are strongest, she said. Among people who believe in you. Before Daniel could answer, a deep voice echoed behind them. The Zarlan commander stepped from a nearby hangar, armor glowing red, like molten metal. You survived the poison. Impressive, he growled. But you will not survive me. Arya stepped between them. You attack here and you die here. The commander laughed. I did not come to fight. He lifted a small device. I came to deliver a message. The device activated. A projection appeared, a dark planet with a burning sky. This is Velen 3, the commander said. A neutral world. Innocent. Peaceful. He smirked. Was peaceful. Until we arrived. The image showed burning cities. Screaming civilians. Ships falling from the sky. Daniel felt sick. Stop this, he whispered. You want peace? The commander said. Then surrender at Velen 3. Come alone. We will end the prophecy there. The device shut down. The commander disappeared in a burst of red static. Silence. Arya stepped back, shaken. It's a trap. Daniel nodded. Yes. But we can't ignore them. The Queen appeared behind them. She had heard everything. War is here, she said. The third trial has begun. She looked at Daniel. If you go, you may die. If you don't, the galaxy dies. Daniel inhaled slowly. He was still scared. But fear no longer controlled him. I'll go, he said. But not alone. The Queen's eyes glowed. She raised her sword to him like a knight's blessing. Then humanity stands with us. From this moment forward, together. The fleet engines roared. The war for the galaxy had begun. The starship Eclipse Spear roared into the void, cutting through space like a blade of light. Daniel stood on the command bridge, body steady, mind uncertain. He saw Velen 3 on the screen, a world covered in dark smoke and flickering flames. The Zarlan Dominion had made their move. Princess Arya stood beside him in full armor. Her eyes glowed like stars preparing for dawn. The Queen's voice came through the comms. Remember, Daniel, peace is not given. It is chosen. Make your choice. The channel closed. Daniel felt the weight of galaxies in those words. Approaching atmosphere, said a pilot. The ship trembled as they broke into Velen 3's sky, flying over burning forests and shattered cities. Arya turned to Daniel. The commander will expect fear. Do not give it to him. Daniel nodded, even though his heart beat like war drums. He gripped the railing until his knuckles turned white. Thunk. The ship landed. The doors opened. Smoke swept in like ghosts of fallen hopes. Daniel stepped out first, boots hitting the ash-covered ground. Arya and royal guards followed, forming a circle around him. Then he saw it. The Zarlan commander stood ahead, at the center of broken ruins. Behind him, civilians were trapped, scared, silent, waiting. So the human comes, the commander growled. The prophecy in flesh. Daniel forced his voice to stay calm. I'm here. Let them go. The commander smiled, sharp, cruel. If you are willing to pay the price, one life for a world. Arya stepped forward. He will not sacrifice himself. Not for your lies. The commander snapped his fingers. Zarlan soldiers emerged, surrounding them. Weapons ready. Energy crackled in the air. Your life, human, the commander repeated. Or they all burn. Daniel thought of everything, the hug in the palace, the Stargate memories, the children he saved, the Heartstone healing Arya. He thought of Earth, small, fragile, forgotten. He thought of humans who didn't know their history was written in stars. He stepped forward. Arya grabbed his arm. Daniel! Don't! Daniel looked at her, calm, steady. It's all right. I'm choosing. He turned to the commander. If I surrender, if I give myself up, you leave Velen 3 alone. The commander nodded slowly. Agreed. The galaxy will know a human knelt to the Dominion. Daniel raised his hands. Fine. I kneel. He knelt. The civilians gasped. The guards tensed. Arya whispered, No. The commander lifted his blade, ready to strike. But Daniel wasn't finished. He spoke loudly, not to the commander, but to everyone watching. I kneel, not because I'm weak. Not because humanity is small. He looked up, voice gaining power. I kneel to protect life. I kneel because we choose compassion over fear, even when afraid. His voice echoed across the ruins. That is what makes humans dangerous. Not weapons. Not power. Heart. And you cannot kill heart. The commander hesitated, confused, thrown off balance. Arya saw the opening. She raised her arm and shouted, Lemurian fleet, now! The sky split open as dozens of ships uncloaked, firing beams of light. Shields protected the civilians. Zarlan's soldiers were thrown back. The commander roared in rage. You tricked me! Daniel stood, eyes sharp. No. You tricked yourself. You thought kneeling meant losing. He clenched his fists. Humans, get back up! With a shout, the Lemurian guards charged. The battlefield lit with blasts and sparks. Daniel stayed close to Arya, dodging attacks, helping civilians reach shielded zones. The commander attacked, swinging his glowing blade. Arya blocked it, sparks flying. You cannot win! He yelled. Daniel picked up a fallen metal rod and stepped beside Arya. He pointed the rod at the commander like a sword. Maybe not, Daniel said. But I don't have to win. We do. The commander swung at Daniel, but Daniel deflected just enough. Arya struck back, slicing the commander's armor. Cracks spread like fractures in fate. The commander stumbled. Daniel shouted, Your war ends here! Arya finished the strike with a blast of energy. The commander fell, defeated, not killed, but powerless. Silence fell. Civilians cheered. Soldiers lowered weapons. The battle ended. The Queen's ship landed, and she stepped out. She looked at Daniel, not as a human, not as an outsider, but as someone who changed destiny. She raised her hand. Kneel, Daniel Hayes. Not in surrender, but in honor. Daniel knelt again, but this time, with pride. The Queen spoke loudly for all to hear. From this moment, let it be known, humanity is chosen by royalty. A partner to the Empire. A voice among stars. A people of worth. Her sword touched Daniel's shoulder. Rise, ambassador of peace. Bridge of worlds. Human of heart. Daniel stood. Arya placed a hand on his shoulder. This is not the end, Daniel. This is the beginning. He looked at the stars. Once they felt far away. Now they felt like home.